requirements, calls for curriculum change. When we changed our constitution, our curriculum was to change, but it took long.
In 2010?
Yes.
That is when the CBC was supposed
No,
to be.
it was to have
different.
it should have, and it should an education system, curriculum should be changed and reformed after every 5 years.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have
So the 844 system had taken
Way
a
too
long time.
way too long.
Mm.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Beyond the Pulpit. This is episode 31. My name is Tracy Ann Nyambura, in case you have forgotten. It's so nice to be back on set, releasing another episode. As I said, this is episode 31. Last week we didn't manage to release an episode because of reasons we cannot avoid. These things do happen. You record an episode, some things happen. But anyway, we are here. With another guest, another amazing story, another amazing career to learn from. So before that, I hope you've subscribed. I hope you, mostly subscribed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on our TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. A lot of content is posted, reels and whatnot. Our TikTok is doing very well again. On any video that you like, especially under the BTP Studios, please leave a comment. Share so that we can get to a wider audience, right? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support so far. 6 months in, and it's been, I think, 6 or 7. I think we are hitting month 7 now. 7 months in, and it's been an amazing journey. But let's get us to 1,000 subscribers, please, and thank you. Let's get to, we'll be back to 200 and something. So please, subscribe so that we can get to 1,000 subscribers. I hope you've been well. I hope you've been keeping safe. Let's get into today's episode. Our guest today is Godfrey Mbaya, a gentleman who has come to share his story with us. He's a teacher. He has been a teacher for a while. This is different. I don't think we've had a teacher on set. We've had someone who taught Greek or lectures in Greek, but a primary school teacher is different. I'm interested in particularly learning about the new curriculum and getting to understand it. Nimeambiwa it's been here for a while, I think 8 years now. Let me say I do not understand CBC, especially the transitions of sijui kutoka grade 6 and whatnot. But it's important to now have someone on set and help me and anyone else who is in the audience, our listeners and our viewers, to understand what CBC is about. And not only that, but if Godfrey is someone that maybe you've been seeing around you and you don't know his story and his upbringing and his salvation story, it's an amazing opportunity to get to know him. So Godfrey, thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here on set with us. Karibu sana.
Asante.
I hope you are feeling relaxed and ready to chat this hour and I think a half or 2 away. Let me say, do not feel like you should hold back anything, but you can hold back whatever you feel like is personal. I like to say that if there's an area where you think I should not ask, I will not ask. I will not get into it. So yeah, karibu sana. I can't wait to get to hear your story, get to know you better. So you can start by introducing. This is your camera. You can start by introducing yourself to our guests, to our audience, to our listeners and viewers. Introduce yourself, your name, who you are, and then from there we will get into the other bit.
Thank you, Tracy. My name is Godfrey Mbaya, as you have been told. Godfrey Mbaya is a member of Ka West Baptist Church. So I'm married to one wife. I have 3 children, 2 girls and 1 gentleman who's just finished his Form 4. That's my last born. Thankful to God because of my family. If I would start with my background.
Yes.
Godfrey Mbaya is a village guy from Western Kakamega County, to be precise. That's where he was born, bred, went to school from primary to high school, up to the year 1996 when he did his Form 4. Came to Nairobi, trained as a teacher at Goto Teachers Training College, and he's been a teacher for some time now. If I will start my journey from when I came to Nairobi and how I started teaching. When I came to Nairobi, I had not trained as a teacher. I came to Nairobi to visit.
Oh. Wait, so this is immediately
after Form 4.
So 1997?
Yes.
Okay.
When I came to visit, my brother was living around, raised in Lakisama. So on Sunday, he picked me up, told me there's somebody who is going to the US and needs somebody to guide, teach her English. And he took me to that lady who asked a few questions on whether I could teach English, and I affirmed that. And she gave me a chance to teach her how to read and speak English before she left for the US. So when I engaged her for 1.5 weeks, she became proficient in speaking the language. And I didn't know she had a school. So she gave me a job in her school to teach English.
Really?
That's how I started teaching before training.
Yeah.
But now after that I enrolled in a college to train as a teacher. And I became a teacher. I've worked in different stations, schools, say 5 to be precise. The first school was where this lady
Was the owner.
That was at Lakisama. And then went to a school in Dandora, school called Joy Villa School. That is a school I found interesting. Those years, it was a school that was putting on trousers and jeans, black
Everyone,
jeans.
ladies,
girls
Oh,
and
wow.
boys, white shirts. I found it very interesting because I had never seen a primary school.
I know.
Girls and boys putting on jeans.
Some of us know that this only international schools do
Yes,
that.
yes.
And so this is while you're getting to Joyville, were you still in Dogoto enrolled?
No, I was still training.
Oh, you're still in training.
I was still training.
Okay.
And before enrolling in the Dogoto Teachers Training College, I had an international training on teaching. That is a college linked with the Pensacola Christian College, CITT, owned by American missionaries. It was based at Thika Road Christian School. So I trained with them for Christian ministry. This is becoming a Christian teacher. So it was an elaborate kind of program. And while I was there taking the international training, that's when I joined Kaha West Baptist, not Baptist Church.
Oh,
it was Kaha West Baptist Academy.
Oh,
then.
Okay.
The name was changed to KBA.
Yeah.
That is the year 2022. No, the year 2002. The year 2002. I taught here for 1.5 years. And then joined Green Cottage Academy. had already finished the two courses.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been a teacher since then to date. Yes.
Okay. So is teaching something you saw yourself getting into while you were in high school? Now when you were tutoring the lady who was going abroad, that's when you realized you kind of have a passion.
My initial desire,
Mm-hmm.
childhood dream was to be a KDF.
A KDF.
Yes.
You admired being in the KDF.
I admired being a KDF member.
Okay.
And when I came to Nairobi immediately after Form 4, I tried to enroll thrice or 4 times while here in Nairobi.
Okay.
Although I would be told, go back to your ancestral home.
Why?
Where you will easily be. But the time that they'll be recruiting, I'll be in Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't travel to go back to my rural area to be for recruitment.
Yeah.
But again, the issues of whom do you know? Whom do you know?
Connections.
Connections. So if you don't have any connection, then there are some chances you don't get.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I'm not regretting being a teacher. I find it fulfilling because I have instructed learners. I've guided learners because I believe I have to let them know that the future belongs to them.
Yeah.
So if I don't guide them properly, then there'll be an issue.
Yeah.
Yes. So in my teaching, I have two guiding principles. Number one, discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline. And discipline is paramount.
Yeah.
That the girls and boys we are raising in school have to appreciate the value of discipline. Because without it, and with the S one will get, then life is altogether useless.
Yeah.
I've seen young men, young ladies who leave school and excel in their lives.
Yeah.
But I've also seen young men and young ladies who leave school and they become very, very pathetic in life. And the issue is rotate around discipline.
Yeah.
And then the other principle is on hard work, because you don't get what you want if you don't work hard. So I challenge my students that they have to work hard, because they can't excel in the academics if they're not reading,
Yeah.
if they're not doing the assignments, if they're not following up with the projects. So it will be a challenge for them to excel in the academics. Yes.
We do. I mean, in primary school, when you're being taught about discipline and whatnot, you just used to think that these teachers are just repeating the same things all over again until you're done with school and you've joined campus and now you have to do things by yourself. That's when you really realize that self-discipline is something that is going to keep you on track. If you don't have it, you're going to lose track very easily. All right, that's those are two very important
Very
guiding
important.
rules. Yeah.
On the issues of discipline, I had a philosophy, a statement. Actually, I call it in my school discipline statement. Is our discipline statement in our school. My level of discipline determines the height of my excellence.
Oh,
My level of discipline determines the height of my excellence.
The height of my excellence.
Yes.
Wow.
So discipline is paramount.
Yeah, we see how it is. I'm curious to know, once you joined Joyville, did you start teaching? Like, what were your subjects in majoring? Yeah,
Teaching mathematics.
mathematics.
Yes.
Wow, not English. I thought you'd take up English again.
Teaching
because...
mathematics, science, and English.
Oh, and English.
But mathematics is my favorite subject.
Really?
Yes.
You really did well in high school?
Yes.
You loved it?
Mathematics is my favorite subject.
And why would you choose to teach in a primary school and not high school? Or is it something that you thought about, or it was just a choice that
I'll say all levels are important. Actually, I will say I have taught in primary school all levels from grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to grade 8, class 8. And currently I've taught grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9.
and
Currently
that's
handling
junior
grade 9 junior
secondary.
school.
Yeah.
And I'll say these cradle or foundational levels are very important.
Yeah.
Very important. And if we are to invest in education, we have to invest in a pre-primary section and primary section.
Yeah.
When our children are well-founded, well instructed, and they go to higher levels, they find learning quite easy. Quite easy.
Yeah.
So to me, if I was to make a choice which levels to handle, teaching, primary school will still remain. And why? Because I want these girls and boys to understand that they are forming a foundation for their lives. So when they go to high school, they will not be misdirected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we do hear primary kindergarten is also very, but I don't see a lot of male teachers handling kindergarten, but primary, yes, we do see and we do understand. And I do understand when you say primary is also very crucial, especially in the formative, even in subject wise, because a lot of, okay, I'm a product of the 844, so a lot of the things you're taught in primary school, some are also in high school.
Yes.
Yeah, not just, they're just an extension. They're longer, the units are longer. So yeah. Okay. Interesting. So high school is, you've taught, but now in the new curriculum.
In the new curriculum, but again, I would say teaching high school is not a problem. And teaching high school is easier. The teachers in high school base their lessons on what teachers in primary have
Exactly.
done. But again, you realize that the teacher, talk of the teacher in the preschool. This girl, this boy goes to school, does not know how to hold a pen,
Nothing.
Does not know how to sound a letter,
Even to ask for
a word,
yeah.
and leave alone a sentence. And with time, this boy can say book, then says book, then say the book is here.
Yeah.
And eventually this individual can read a book. When this individual goes to high school, can consume content.
Yeah.
And so the teacher in high school gives notes. The learner is able to write.
Yeah.
The skill that was acquired in preschool.
Yeah.
The learner is able to read. The skill that was acquired in preschool.
Yeah.
And so they're building on to what was done in preschool and primary levels. So if the teacher in primary, the teacher in preschool does not do his job well, then the learner would be lost.
There's usually an argument a lot of times online, and debates and conversations around how preschool and primary school teachers are very underrated and underpaid, especially in the Kenyan system, compared to now high school and university. And like you've said, we see that these ones are just everything that you're teaching and everything that the student is able to consume and understand is because of. So my question is, do you think that primary and preschool teachers should be paid more? Because I feel like they do. They handle this child like a preschool teacher, especially teaching this child how to say, I want to go to the toilet. How do I hold a pen? The numbers. And now when what are they called, schemes of work? Unaona number 1 inafunzwa an entire month so that this child can understand, and letter A. That the repetitiveness, and then now you hear it's not translating to how they're being paid or how they're being treated in schools or even in the government in the system. There's a very big. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'll say it is the system. It's the system and the perception we have had in the society.
Yeah.
However, if you go to other countries, Korea, go to Canada, the teacher in primary is highly paid.
Really?
Yes. It's only here in Kenya that we want to, like, say, bado. Don't need to pay you this much. But I want to agree with you.
Yeah.
The teacher in primary, the teacher in preschool
Yeah.
should be paid highly.
Very.
This learner who comes from home does not know how to use the toilet,
Yeah.
does not know how to feed, does not know how to speak. A
Nothing.
3-year-old
Yeah.
begins to do these things under the guidance of the teacher.
Yeah.
This teacher should be given credit and should be highly remunerated. Yes.
Okay. At least now we found someone who is of the same school of thought, because we do see those, and they will. I don't think that's an argument that will ever end. And hopefully, in a few years, we will see the systems changing to becoming better. Hopefully, because I don't know where we are headed as a country at this point. So you are a product of the 844 system.
I'm a product of 844 system. I did the KCPE. And KCP, that's when we used to have GHC.
Oh, GHCRE.
I did art craft music.
Oh,
that is the time.
I wish when I did 844, especially the 8-bit, I wish we had those. Because now social studies, we don't have arts, or it's in the what do you call it, timetable. It's there, but it's not a lesson.
It's not a lesson.
There's no arts teacher. There's no crafts. Nothing. That actually used to be a double maths lesson. If it's maths and then arts and crafts, that's or
the
PE.
844 system we had
Yeah.
was good, by the way, which is coming back in form of CBC. We used to do agriculture, and we'll go to the farm and plant, and there'll be project work where the assessors from NEC will come and assess your agriculture projects.
Really? Like your small plot?
Yes, you'll make a small plot, plant some greens, you make a nursery bed.
This is in high school or primary?
It was in primary then.
What?
It was in primary then, which has come back in form of CBC today.
Also, the NEC, okay, not nimesikia wamechange jina. What are they called now?
It's going to be called Assessment, Kenya National Assessment Council.
Okay, yes. So they'll come to like the CBC children's plots, and maybe if they're doing agriculture,
Assess. Yes.
Wow. I think some of us would have been farmers if only we learned agriculture in primary school.
Although agriculture now was in high school, but now somebody who had not been taught agriculture in primary school gets it in high school would easily fail to elect it.
Yeah.
Because it was an elective subject.
It was. I personally didn't choose agriculture because I was... No, I will not blame it on being raised in town, but I just did find it interesting. But right now I do. I wish I learned it earlier on. Yeah. So you are a product of 844.
Yes.
You have taught 844.
I've taught 844
for some years before now it became CBC.
Yes.
So now tell us about the transition from 844 to CBC, the differences, the challenges you as teachers face, because I think every single year CBC makes headlines. We see schools not yet receiving books. We see there's shortage of classes. We see parents complaining that CBC is complicated. Even teachers saying that they still don't understand the curriculum. So take us through that. Tell us and help us explain.
When CBC was introduced, that is the year 2017. It was piloted for a year. That is 2016. Then it was rolled out in 2017. When it was rolled out to a particular grade. That was now the learners in grade 3, who are the pioneer class in grade 9 now.
Yes.
The Ministry of Education then was rolling it out, and actually has been rolling it out grade after a grade.
Yeah.
And every year we'll get challenges based on the grade the curriculum is in now. For example, the grade 9 learners, those ones in grade 9 now, who have been the sacrificial kind of lamb to the curriculum. Is the grade that the government learns challenges they face with. What has changed, or what changes have we had? One, we are to move from the exam-oriented kind of system that when if you are to move to a particular level, you have to pass this particular examination, which was rather punitive. That you spend 8 years in primary and you only sit for one examination, which will say you move to another level or not. But with the CBC, evaluation is done every year. Learners are evaluated and based in this within the school and by the ministry itself, the national assessments. The other point will be we are to move from the element of we are cramming content
a lot of that was happening
to developing skills. That you acquire skills from what you're doing in class, what you're doing in school, what you're doing outside school. So to me, CBC is a game changer in terms of the skills learners are to acquire in school. It's not just about knowledge. What are the skills? Then there's the element of values. It's a value-based kind of system. Unlike the 844. That's why you saw that people want to even cheat the exam. You get an A that is not your A. But now, where are the values in that? But we have values in CBC. Values that are incorporated in every lesson, in every strand, every substrand. And the teacher has to live these values. The community has to live these values so that the child catches the values. Yes. So CBC is a value-based curriculum. And there's the aspect of competencies that learners are to develop. If you put an 844 learner here and a CBC learner here, in terms of competencies, the CBC learner will score high. That they are critical thinkers, they learn to learn, they're innovators, name them.
Would you say that CBC is almost like the international systems that are there, like the Cambridge and whatnot, IGCSE? Is it borrowed from that?
I'll say it's a borrowed kind of curriculum. It's a hybrid curriculum because it was to meet the international standards. Yes.
Okay. I remember a few when the kids closed for holidays, they come back with assignments. I met a family friend who was a child in, I think, grade 8, and they wanted to buy some things they have for projects before they open school, and we're discussing them. And he says he's being taught how to model a kidney. He needs to model a kidney. He needs to create a farm. And I was like, you're in grade 8. Isn't it true? If it was in the 844, you'll find this in high school. I think Form 3 or Form 4. I didn't take biology, so I really don't know. But now you get to see them doing these things in grade 8, and they'll tell you a kidney, this is how it is, this is. And I think those are things that I honestly wish I learned them. And what you said about 844 being about cramming, I remember the drilling, they having to wake up at odd hours, especially for us who are in boarding school.
Yes.
Being woken up at 4 a.m. so that you can be in class, then having to sit for maths papers almost every single week. Jesma and Targeter and whatnot, all those papers, we sat for them so that we can have enough, so that it was being drilled, the formulas and what. Yeah, kila siku. Science, you have to sing a song so that you can understand.
And it's possible that some of those things you don't remember them even
I
now.
don't. Especially in social studies. I remember someone wrote somewhere, I don't know where I use Kariandusi, near Gilgil. I don't. I've never been there.
Yes.
But I know something was being mined on those sites. But why do I have that knowledge right now? It doesn't help me in any way. Just know of a place called Kariandusi. But now seeing the transition, even seeing the kids coming back home with assignments and having their parents take part in them, it's really something that we didn't see in the 844.
Yes,
Ulikuwa
yes.
unawekwa pale unaambiwa fanya hiyo 17 times nini and then kosa kuelewa, but now seeing the child, even in as much as it's important to the kids, it's also even important at the family level,
Yes.
because now the parents are able to be involved.
We call it parental involvement and engagement.
Oh, that's what it's called. Oh,
Yes.
it has a name. Okay, interesting. So even the parents get to be involved in the
Which is a
child's
pillar
life.
also in CBC.
Oh wow. Okay, so what are the pillars? Okay, now that we're talking about pillars of CBC, let's talk about them.
There's the issue of parental involvement and
But parents still complain. I don't know why. They
uh,
complain but still participate.
the complaint came as a result of one, resources.
Oh yeah.
That there were a lot of resources being used
Yeah.
or expected by the school,
Yeah.
and so parents complain.
Yeah.
That's why we have to have some reforms. And realize that the last 2 years or so, last year and this year, we have not had a lot of projects where parents had to buy or bring number of resources to school. Teachers are encouraged to innovate.
Okay.
To innovate
At the school level. So the school is responsible.
Parents can buy where possible, but we use the locally available materials.
Okay.
Locally available materials. The other reason why parents complain is the issues of time, particularly where the urban setup, where parents go to work and come late in the evening, leave early in the morning, and they're expected to work on a project with the child. So that is where the parents would feel this is too much.
Honestly, I wouldn't blame that on the system. I'd blame that on the parents.
On
you
the
should
parent.
find the time to
find time.
Yeah.
So it is encouraged that parents should find time, one, to know what the learners are doing, engage with the learners, work with the learners on the projects that learners have been given. Learners will acquire some skills, knowledge in school, but they're expected to put it into practice, the knowledge and the skills into practice at home.
Yeah.
So the home should be an environment for extended learning. Yes.
Okay.
If we are talking of cooking in school, they have been taught a particular method, probably group work or demonstrated, then the learner needs to practice at home, needs to be given that platform. If it is washing, they have been taught how to wash a handkerchief. So where will they do the extended activity? To be at home. So parents have to be involved. Yes.
I once had someone say that they've had a child come home and they've been told to go sweep in the market. Just go have an activity of cleaning around the market area.
That was the first project that was done by the pioneer class when they were in grade 3. They were given as an assessment by NEC, sweeping, cleaning the market. And what was the purpose of that? To help learners know that whatever they're learning in school should be used to solve challenges in the community.
Yeah.
So we are calling it community service learning, CSL, which is a component of this curriculum. That you are to the knowledge, the skills you have acquired in school, you are to apply them in the community to solve problems that are in the community. Yes. So if the market is not clean, who should clean it?
It's me.
It's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important. Wow, I can just say how 844 was just another system where we were drilled to understanding things so that we can get into university. That was the first pillar, was about parental. Okay, I'm curious about how you said back then. Right now there's a change, you've said. I'm worried about the children in the marginalized areas, in Turkana, in Marsabit, and all of those areas who still have to adopt into the CBC. And now they also have the same projects, because I think it's the same CBC in Nairobi, is the same CBC over there. The same projects that we're supposed to do in Nairobi, they're expected to do there. In cases where parents are required to provide, and these are marginalized areas, the school probably some don't even have roofs. They don't even have sitting. Classrooms are a mystery to them. How was the system? How was the government handling such situations?
I'll say it boils down to one, the government,
Mm-hmm.
then the county government leadership, the leadership within the local communities, because the issues of school infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
is not to be left to the national government only. I remember when we were in school,
But
we
the
used
education
to.
system is not devolved.
Education is not devolved,
Mm.
but parents play a major role in making sure
Mm.
that the schools in the community are well equipped. The MPs,
Mm.
the CDF, the
Oh yeah.
NGCDF funds, what do they do? They are
Mm.
to be used in improving the infrastructure in the schools. And so the locals should call or bring their leaders to task
Mm.
and make them do what is supposed to be done.
Mm.
If there's a school in the local community that it does not have classrooms,
Mm.
so how would we expect learners to attend to lessons in this 21st century?
Mm.
It will be a challenge,
A
and it
huge
is a
challenge.
challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, schools in Nairobi or schools in urban centers, public and private, could be well endowed.
Mm.
But if you go to the marginalized areas, you'll find there's a big problem.
Mm.
However, it's a collective responsibility, the locals and the national government, to make sure that this happens, that we have infrastructure
Mm.
in the schools.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I hope we get to see the changes in the, especially in the county, when our MPs go back to when they're
The
in parliament.
constituencies.
Yeah, and they still fight for the CDF funds. When someone says they get rid of it, they are busy fighting for it and saying that it's helpful. Then you hear of a school somewhere that doesn't have facilities, and you're like, why? Then why are you having the CDF? It's sad. So then our system is just crooked in its own way. Hopefully, people stop becoming selfish and now considering others. Okay, we were talking about the pillars of CBC. We've talked about the parental involvement,
Talk of value based.
value based.
Value based.
Yes.
And values, say values are caught, not taught. And this is a value based.
What you said?
Values are caught, not taught. You're not going to teach a learner to be honest. The learner needs to feel honesty, emulate honesty, to get it from you. And so the CBC curriculum is a value based curriculum, in that we have values that we are to inculcate in our learners. Patriotism, honesty, unity,
They taught about
integrity.
patriotism.
Yes. So when we are cleaning the market, what are we doing? We are patriotic. We love our country.
Oh,
We
okay.
we are showing that we need to take care of our country. Yes.
Okay.
And these values are incorporated in every learning area, not just a particular one. If you are teaching English, then you also teach the values. You need to demonstrate these values. If you are teaching mathematics, you need also to demonstrate these values. You are teaching social studies, you need to demonstrate these values as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's value based. Another pillar?
We have theoretical approaches.
Theoretical.
Yes. In the sense that there are theories that have been used to help enable learning and even developing of content in the curriculum design, that we learn differently. There are those who learn by seeing.
Yeah.
There are those who learn by doing.
Yeah.
There are those who learn by let's say collaborating, seeing, doing. There are those who would learn better when they are involved with matters of numbers. So these theories, teachers have to understand them so that they're able to know what style should I use in teaching that this learner will acquire the necessary knowledge.
Okay. Ah, interesting. I think it was important to have you here on set because I didn't understand these things. Okay, do we have another pillar?
Yes, we do. Unless I check, I confirm.
You can confirm. You can definitely refire.
Can confirm.
So I'm curious. So what kind of support did you feel like the government just threw you into the deep end when it came to transitioning from 844 to CBC, or was there any kind of help during the transition?
Um, there has been help. The perception that you have in the social media that teachers are not well equipped may be false. Like at this time, as I'm speaking to you, the government has organized grade 10 teachers training
Already?
programs and the junior school teachers training programs around the country in different places, different learning areas. So teachers go there. First of all, they train those who will train the teachers, the trainers of trainers. So trainers of trainers go to the counties and sub-counties to train teachers within those levels. The schools send a number of teachers. Those teachers who go to for training come back to train teachers within the school. So that happens and has been happening every other term, every other year.
Okay.
In November, we had trainings. This April, actually starting tomorrow for a whole week, we'll have trainings. Come August, we shall have trainings.
For the grade 10 teachers.
We have had trainings almost every other level, but now when we are transiting to another level, it's like at this time the teachers in high school are being prepared for receiving learners in grade 10 in 2026. Yes.
Interesting. So we should stop thinking that the government doesn't help.
And then they issue on materials.
Yes.
They issue on materials, and I think that's where we had a problem in delaying to release them.
Yeah.
And we started the term without books. That is the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And the reason was we had changes. Remember the task force that was formed when the new government got into power.
Okay.
Made some recommendations that were to be altered. So these changes were brought. When these changes were brought, the publishers had already released books.
Yeah. We saw that too.
Yes, had already released books. So the books had to be redone. So they had to wait, they had to redo the books. So the teachers were to wait for the books to be released.
I saw there was such an uproar online on the news of parents saying, I've already bought textbooks. Sasa ninaambiwa tena nimenunua 12.
Umenunua 12.
Yeah.
And you have to buy others.
Tena, yes, I need 12 more. That was that was last minute. That was very last minute and abrupt. No one was ready for that. Yeah.
So materials, that's a problem. And I know even when you're getting to grade 10, the publishers are working on grade 10 materials.
Right now, as we speak,
they are working on them, but it may not have been approved. So we may get into grade 10 without the books because they have to go through approval. KICD.
We're in April and you're already kind of foreseeing a delay in
we may have.
Oh, wow.
We may have. Because they have to be approved.
Yeah.
And for them to be approved, they should be taken back. If there are any corrections to be made, they should be corrected before they are printed fully. So it takes a while for that to happen.
Okay. Okay. Another time we've seen people saying there is shortage of teachers. We've seen people saying that I had a degree in this. Now I'm told you can't teach CBC. The same teachers who taught in the 844 are still the same teachers who are teaching in the CBC. But now they're acquiring a different kind of training, right?
Yes.
but people are still saying there's a shortage of teachers.
The truth is, we have always had shortages of teachers,
Even
before,
really?
even with 844.
Okay.
Yes, we have always had.
Mm.
And yes, I appreciate that the government has employed a number of teachers to the public schools at the beginning of this year,
Mm.
and some are reporting at the beginning of next term
Mm.
to public schools.
Mm.
However, that does not really meet the required ratio
Mm.
of 1:20 or 1:30.
One teacher
Handles 20 or 30, 20 to 30 students. That's international kind of
the
standards.
rationing, really?
But now you find that in a class, the teacher handles 70 learners.
Oh, yeah,
or
especially in
so,
public schools, yeah.
Because of infrastructure and what have you.
Okay. Let's see how they and for the private schools.
Private schools are doing well, I'll say so.
Mm-hmm.
That they try to manage the ratio of the teacher and the students. And this is because the parents pay fees,
Yeah.
and so they have to make sure that there's value to the fees the parents are paying.
So will you say that in primary school, in private schools, you're able to have the ratio of 1:30 students?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless that private school has a problem in managing itself.
Okay.
But most private schools, that is how it is.
Okay. Have you found the other pillar?
I'm still checking.
Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. Have you noticed a difference in how learners respond to the different curriculums? Having taught the 844 and the CBC, the difference in learner response.
CBC is the better curriculum.
You
Actually call it CBE lately, competency-based education. Actually, we have changed.
Oh, they've changed it.
Competency-based education.
It's not curriculum anymore.
Because it's education, we have different curriculums. There's the curriculum in pre-primary, curriculum in primary, curriculum in high school.
Yeah.
So all these curriculums lead to education.
Okay.
So, what is the response comparing the two? I've said this is a better curriculum, better education. Why? We are filling the gap, and there has been a gap in one, values. There has been a gap in competencies. There are learner graduates from high school but cannot communicate fluently spoken language or written language. Yet it's just finished Form 4. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But now in CBC there is collaboration and communication, which is a competency that learners acquire, that we need to collaborate to do 1, 2, 3. You get?
Yeah.
The issues of values that I've mentioned, hands-on activities. The learners are taught how to sew. Learners are taught how to cook. Learners are taught how to plant. There's innovative gardening. So a learner leaving a primary school goes home during holiday, can plant sukuma wiki.
They can.
And
I've seen it happening actually in our area.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they will use sukuma wiki in the house.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of education we need in our country as we speak. Not just waiting. What are you doing with the skills you have got in the school?
The school. Okay. Okay.
So to me, I'll say this is a better curriculum.
Okay. I agree. Honestly, I 100% agree, because when you see these kids in the estates talking about certain things, and even in our home area, there's a garden, a child where we live, and they plant some skumas, some spinach, and they tuna, they sell to us neighbors. Yeah, it's teaching kids a lot. Another difference is the grading system.
Mhm.
I came to understand that
Mhm.
there's nothing like poor when it comes to you're not a bad performer when it comes to CBC.
Mhm.
The grading system is there's excellent.
We don't have excellent.
Wait, exceeding
We don't have
expectation.
excellent. We have below expectations. That is the
Okay.
bottom.
Okay.
Expectations.
Mhm.
B.
Mhm.
And then there is approaching expectations.
Okay, that's an average.
But let us not call it average.
Okay.
And then because when you call it average, you'll now go to excellent, go to good,
Oh,
and
okay. Okay.
whatever. Then there is meeting expectations.
Oh, okay.
Then there is exceeding expectations. Let me now bring it to where you can easily understand it.
Mhm.
Let me say I've given you a passage to read. This passage has 200 words,
Mhm.
and you are to read in a minute. If you read the 200 words in 45 seconds, then you exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
You are to read in a minute, and you read in 45
seconds.
You exceeded
Expectations. Okay.
If you read the words in a minute, then you met expectations.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just what you are required.
Yeah, what you are required.
Okay.
You met expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read and you took 1 minute, 30 seconds, you are approaching. And if you struggle, you read, and you are struggling even to finish, then you are below
Expectations. Okay.
Good.
I've had people saying that now having those different ways of grading, like, you still call it grading?
That's grading.
Okay. The different levels of grading the child's performance in school is kind of cushioning them. Because now when you're telling a child that they are meeting expectations or below expectations, instead of telling them they're bad, 84 was brutal.
Yes, it was.
If you've gotten 150 marks, it's 150 marks and you're a poor performer, and everyone plus your grandmother will tell you you are bad at school. But now you find CBC, it's telling you you're not badly off, you are just not there yet. They're not telling, somewhat hiding the truth instead of telling the child what it is. And I think some of us is just speaking from a point of bitterness that these children get to be, we say kupapaswa tu shule. Napapaswa tu shule. Wambiwi, you are not good at something. So would you agree that CBC is somewhat cushioning kids?
I wouldn't say cushioning. Because for you to also get that exceeding expectation, there is a certain level you have to have. There is what you should have acquired, what you should have managed. So if you read the words within 45 seconds, then you exceeded expectations. Yeah. So that has not cushioned, that has even told you you are doing well. You're good. You're doing well. And they know. And if I want to exceed expectations.
Okay. So now it's funny because now a child's goal is to exceed expectation, not to be below expectations.
Not to be below
not like what we used to say, my goal is to have 450 marks. So for them it's I want to
exceed expectations.
And that goes all the way to even in grade 10?
Yes. Grade 10 we are yet to know how they're going to rate.
It's going to be different.
Grade 10 is going to be a different level.
Okay.
Altogether. Let's go back.
All right.
CBE, curriculum-based education, we have pre-primary section.
Yes.
2 years course.
Yes.
Learners will transit to lower primary. At the pre-primary level, that is called interaction kind of level.
Okay.
They're actually not to be stressed with learning as much, though there is a curriculum for them to follow. Lower primary and upper primary, that is socializing level. They need to socialize.
Lower starts from grade 1.
Grade 1.
Okay.
They need to socialize. So we have lower primary up to grade 3. Then grade 4, 5, 6.
Upper primary.
Upper primary. At lower primary, pre-primary, we are not grading them, exceeding, meeting, no. In lower primary to grade 6, that's when we start grading them. Meeting, exceeding, and below. They move to at grade 3. At grade 3, they do a national assessment.
Okay.
They do a national assessment. This national assessment is based on the project. They'll do a project, and then they will do learning area, mathematics, and English, just to monitor their progress. They'll go to grade 4. Grade 4, they'll do an assessment.
The KPSEA one?
Not KPSEA.
Okay.
KPSEA is at grade 6.
Okay.
It will be school-based assessment. School-based assessment at grade 4. And whose scores will be uploaded. I remember, learners in grade 3, learners are registered for assessment at grade 3. And they get an assessment number. And that assessment number will be used throughout. Like the one you got in KCP index number. So it's no longer index number. You call it assessment number. At grade 5, they will do another assessment. This assessment in grade 4 and the assessment they will do in grade 5 will contribute 40% to their performance in grade 6.
Really?
Yes.
The KPSEA? No.
Yes.
Oh.
So they're not just basing on one assessment in one grade. They're monitoring the learner's progress. So this learner who did mathematics in grade 4 exceeded expectation. NEC can tell this learner exceeds expectation in grade 4. In grade 5, still exceeded expectation. In grade 6, when they will do the assessment, the learner exceeds expectation. So you can tell this learner is good at mathematics.
Yeah. Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So they'll do an assessment at KPSEA, at grade 6 called KPSEA.
Yeah.
Kenya Primary Education Assessment. Sawa? This, if you've looked at their results, their score sheet.
I've never seen
it. Mathematics, exceeding expectation. English, approaching, dependent on the learner. So they don't use other values other than that. Okay. But now for them to have known that this learner exceeds expectations, they have to have ranges.
Yeah.
From this to here, that is exceeding expectation. From here to here, that is meeting expectation. Like that. Then this learner goes to grade 7. I remember the KPSEA assessment is not for placement.
Oh, it doesn't determine where
it doesn't determine where you are going to, which school you are going to go to. No.
Okay.
So at grade 7, the learner will also do another assessment.
At grade 7 now?
At grade 7. At grade 8, the learner will do another assessment, school-based, but supplied by the Kenya National Assessment Council. At grade 9 now, that's where they are going to do the one we are waiting to see how it will be done. Kenya Junior Education Assessment, School Education Assessment. Yes.
It's different, like, than the 844 where you wait for 8 years.
Yeah. Now this junior assessment, the assessment they will do at grade 9 will be used for placement in senior school. We are calling them senior school.
Oh, okay.
And these senior schools, that's what the government is working on now, to see which school is going to offer which pathway. Because there are 3 pathways. Which school is going to offer which pathway? There are those schools that will offer both, at least two pathways. There are those schools.
Pathways?
There are 3 pathways. One, we have the STEM.
Oh, the science.
The sciences. Then we have the social sciences. Then we have the arts and sports sciences. Those are 3 pathways. So there are schools that will do all the 3 pathways. There are schools that will do Actually, a school should do at least 2.
Minimum, okay.
A minimum of
2.
2 pathways.
Mm-hmm.
So the assessment that will be done at grade
9
will determine the placement of the learner. But not. The Kenya National Examination Council has been tracking the performance of this learner right away from grade 4.
Yeah.
And can tell using the previous data that this learner is good at mathematics, sciences, or can go to social science.
Okay.
Although the learners will be given an opportunity to select the pathways. The way we were selecting high schools. Yes.
Okay. Can a learner select a pathway and they're not good at, or maybe they are good at it, say sciences, but they want to go towards craft or social sciences?
They'll be given an opportunity. If schools are offering the 3 or offering at least 2, then the learner, if this learner has selected once social sciences, talk of humanities, and feels also I want to do art and sports, is allowed to do at least 2 in the sciences and 2 learning areas in what? In the sports and sports ball. At senior school, there will be 7 learning areas, and 4 of which are compulsory.
Bado compulsory ziko. The compulsory, okay. What are the compulsory ones?
English.
Definitely.
Kiswahili. This is functional.
Yes.
Kiswahili, functional, English. Then there is physical education.
Compulsory. PE.
Yes. Whether you're doing STEM or you're doing sports science or you're doing social science.
Physical education is
education is compulsory. And why?
Go back to school.
Because physical health is very vital. Whether you are an engineer or a sportsman. Yes. Then there is community service learning, which is a learning area in senior school. Community service learning is a learning area. Okay. That whatever skills you are acquiring in school, you need to solve problems in the
community level. Okay. Sijasikia ukitaja mathematics, and that was a discussion the other day.
There are discussions still ongoing whether it will be compulsory or not, but mathematics will be on the side of STEM. So if it is on the side of STEM, it will not be compulsory.
For everyone.
But now learners have done mathematics right away from grade 1 to grade 9.
Yeah.
And if they have done mathematics from grade 1 to grade 9, they have acquired skills necessary for them to do simple mathematics of calculating their monies and what have you.
Okay. So you are for the idea maths should not be necessarily compulsory for all areas.
I will say this. Those who are going in the business of mathematics because of passion and because of a career, let them do it.
Okay.
But not be forced to do mathematics, yet you have no interest whatsoever. Because that has been the problem, even in KCSE. Somebody is doing mathematics and has a problem and gets an E. And that affects their points.
Grade, yeah, it does.
Yes.
Chemistry. That is what chemistry did to me. I wonder where I'm applying my chemistry skills, if I acquired any. Okay. So now we've talked about the 4. And then the elective ones, you said there are 7.
There are 7. So the elective ones depends with the pathway.
Okay. So now pathway. This one, the other 3 are being informed by
the pathway you want to pick. You go to STEM, there are those learning areas and pathways. And again, based on the career you want. Because here in senior school, there's specialization. You have to have, again, made up your mind that I want to go in this direction. Come on, you want to become a lawyer. What are those learning areas you'd want to pursue.
Definitely social sciences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
So
okay.
they'd be informed on the pathway you are,
Mm,
you have decided to pursue.
okay. Until this point, do we have an idea as to how the schools that are going to take the different pathways are going to be selected? Because for the longest time, I've really been wondering. Because right now, not assuming. This year there was no Form 1 intake because akukwa na class 8 last year. So I was wondering, what are these schools doing with the empty classes? But now that I'm understanding that there's the different pathways, do we know? Because when we're doing 844, we knew that the alliances, the Starehe, all those schools were the schools to choose from. Are they still going to be the ones selected to do like the scene? Like STEM I'd rate it somewhere higher than others. Are they still going to be selected like that? Like if I know I want to do a STEM course, pathway if STEM is the pathway I want to go, I'll go to Alliance or Starehe. Is there like, do we know how those schools are going to be selected?
The government has been working on that. It hasn't released circularly yet to tell us that these are the schools that will offer these particular pathways, which we are waiting. Hopefully, in this second term, that will be happening because those learners in grade 9 need to have selected their pathways, and they're yet to. So I'm hoping that the government will release a circular to that effect to let us know which schools will be offering which pathways.
So they're purely selecting pathways, not schools.
They'll be selecting pathways and schools.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's the same thing. Like, okay, not same,
But again, now we are not calling them national schools. We are not calling them county schools. We don't have that.
Good.
We don't have that.
Good.
So the schools will be categorized based on the pathways they are offering.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. I think CBC gives me some bit of excitement. I'd want to go back to school so that I can acquire some of these skills these children are acquiring. I like how you said by the time a child is getting to grade 10, even right now, before they choose their pathways, they need to have kind of decided. And I think right now, grade 9, kutoka grade 3, you've been in this curriculum, you know, if you like agriculture and all of this, because that is going to help us have one of the biggest problems we have in our country, and especially in career, is poor career choices. You find someone maybe simply because I excelled in mathematics, I'm told to do accounts or actuarial sciences and all of those mathematical skills. Simply because I excelled in sciences, I'm told to become a doctor or to do biochemistry and all of that. But maybe I just want to become a teacher, or I just want to do law. Passing in chemistry does not want. But now having the children understand, and now they're able to make cautious decisions for themselves, is really going to help us reduce the issue of career choices and the difficulty in career choices.
I'll say parents and teachers and the students have to work together.
Yeah.
And there are two things that will be crucial here. One, the learner's interest. Two, the learner's ability.
Okay, interest and ability. Both have to be present.
Yes.
Very necessary.
Because I may have an interest
but
in sports, but I don't have the ability
to play sports,
to do sports. So that becomes an issue. I have an interest in mathematics, but I don't have the ability to perform mathematics.
Okay.
That will also become an issue. So if I look at my progress record, I've been approaching expectations in mathematics. My ability tells me I'm struggling, but I have an interest. I want to do mathematics. You see, there's a challenge, a conflict there. So there has to be an interest and there has to be an ability.
Okay. So you just can't, even when it comes to choosing the pathways.
And one might have ability but does not have an interest.
yeah, like I was saying, some people, science is they are able to, but the interest is just not there. Yeah. Okay.
So if you have ability and don't have an interest and you're being forced to do something you don't want, then it won't work. It won't work.
Haven't we seen it happening? Yeah, we really
So
did see
the
it happening,
parents
yeah.
we have the parents we may have forced, or we have forced learners, our children, to do some courses that they had no interest of whatsoever. So they ended up wasting their time.
Yeah, in uni. Okay. Is there going to be university?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
So after grade 10, 11, 12,
11, 12,
then now
they go
university.
to university or place of work. That somebody can leave after senior school, can still go to work. Can go to the university, can go to tertiary colleges.
Really?
Yes. Can work and still go to school.
Okay. Okay. So
Based on the skills one has acquired.
Oh, because some are going to actually perform really well.
And we are telling them this. You don't need to wait to leave school for you to start using the skills you have to earn a living. If you are good at agriculture and you love agriculture, you can start doing farming, rear some pigs, na bado naendelea shule. And you still earn a living while you're still in school.
Yeah.
And that's what we're encouraging the CBC students to appreciate.
Okay.
If I'm good at plaiting the hair, I can still plait the hair, get some money, and still continue schooling.
Plaiting, is that something you teach?
It is in arts and sports.
This is so interesting.
Arts and sports, theater, even what you're doing.
They're being taught.
It is there. Senior school, they'll be taught.
Wow. I'd want to go back
Film.
to school. I'd want to go back to school. I think I wouldn't want to go back to 844, but CBC. If I'm to come back alive again, CBC would be enjoyable. I'd be looking forward to going to school, honestly. Now we've also seen a change in a lot of times. If I'm not wrong, we've had that the government wants to do away with boarding schools.
That has been a discussion.
Yeah.
Which has been there for some time.
Yeah.
Which has been there for some time. But it may not be possible.
Yeah.
What the government will do is we talk of hybrid schools. Where we have day school and boarding.
Yeah.
There are reasons why parents send learners to
boarding school. Yeah.
School based on where they live, the work programs. That explains. So doing away with the boarding school may not be a solution. It's not a solution. But making them accommodative and day scholars, okay. We talked of the pillars guiding CBC. We talked of values, which I've mentioned. And then we talked of theoretical approaches.
Yes.
And when we talk of values, we are saying that values are to be part of the curriculum. And there are several values that are incorporated that have to be insisted upon. This is love, responsibility, respect, unity, peace, patriotism, social justice. Talk of social justice and integrity. So that's a pillar of this curriculum.
Yeah.
Then we talk of theoretical approaches.
Yes.
And we are saying that the curriculum design and the lessons the teachers develop are to meet certain threshold based on how the learners can learn. Then the other part is the principles. Under these principles, that's why we have parental empowerment and what? Engagement. We have opportunity. That as you're teaching these children, the pathways are open to different opportunities. That learners, there are opportunities. Those who can sing, those who can draw, those who can dance. Because you're saying the talent you have becomes also your career. You get? We have excellence. And excellence is a principle in life. That we are to strive to be at at the top. We are
Yeah.
to strive to be the best. Then we have diversity and inclusion. And yes, we are gifted differently. And we have learners who have challenges. How do we include them in the curriculum? The special needs students, how do they benefit from this curriculum? We have community service learning, and community service learning is a principle, and in senior school it becomes a learning area.
Yeah.
Community service learning, because you are saying you are going to the school so that you can become a benefit to the community.
Yeah.
So we'll need to encourage that. Then there is a differentiated curriculum and learning. That is the principles under CBC. So there are those three pillars. One, values. Two, principles. Three, theoretical approaches.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting. I don't think, as someone from the outside, not very much involved in the education system, I don't think these are things I've ever thought about. But it's very interesting to see and to understand how the curriculum, or you've said CBE, the competency-based education works. Yeah, I can't wait to see how and who we are going to produce the curriculum. Definitely a different breed of people, especially in the job market. People who don't have to fight for white collar jobs. They can use their skills. They understand their skills, and are curious and are willing to use them and earn money. Yeah, and how CBC has also not made white collar jobs the main focus. That's amazing, because growing up, you'd hear our parents saying, or some people older than us saying, growing up you were either a lawyer, pilot, doctor. Those were the courses that were known. My generation is different, because some have been diversified, like journalism. Back then I don't think journalism was considered something. Sasa unataka kwenda kusoma mbele ya TV and that's it. But right now a lot of people are getting into it and understanding that you can also earn an income from it. I think my generation also does not appreciate agriculture and whatnot.
And there's the element of diversity.
Yeah,
you diversify,
it's so diverse.
that you can be a doctor, journalist.
Yeah,
it's very possible.
It is.
You can be a doctor, journalist, farmer.
Okay.
Yes.
That's being a jack of all trades.
It's possible. It's possible.
You don't have to stick to one career.
You don't have to stick to one career pathway. You diversify based on your competencies, based on your interests. Yes.
Interesting. I think CBC it's a great curriculum to have. I wish it was introduced when some of us were still in school. You say iliingia tukimaliza form 4. So we can't do anything about it.
But curriculums change based on the needs you have in the countries, based on global requirements. Calls for curriculum change. When we changed our constitution, our curriculum was to change, but it took long.
In 2010.
Yes.
That is when the CBC was supposed to be.
It was to have. It should have, and it should. An education system, curriculum should be changed and reformed after every 5 years.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have
so the 844 system had taken a long time.
Way too long. Okay. Is there hope in it changing anytime soon? Because
this one that you're doing,
it's been 2017. It's been 8 years now.
We have changed. If you go back, to what we were teaching the year 2023, and what is being taught now, it's different. Yes.
Okay.
So we have had some changes. We have had some reforms. Actually, we call them reforms.
Okay.
When grade 9 learners joined junior school, that's at grade 7, they were taught very many learning areas. Today, they're not learning those many learning areas.
They've been reduced.
Some have been merged. So those are the reforms you're talking about, which happen after every 5 years.
Okay.
So the education system is reviewed
Okay.
based on the gaps and based on the needs that are there.
Were there any kind of these reviews in 844? Okay, maybe GHC.
They were there.
It was changed kidogo to social studies.
From 700 to 500 marks. They were there.
From okay, now that was the introduction from O levels to A levels. Okay. Now I see it. And yeah, from someone who is from the outside, you really don't.
You may not understand.
Know because because we don't see it. I'm not involved, so okay, it's interesting to see these things. Thank you for allowing me and the many of us who are going to watch to get to understand how the CBC works. It's an interesting curriculum. I will honestly say it's one of the best to ever be in the country. Can't wait to see even our children getting into the system and having it way different from what we had. Okay, we've talked a lot about the curriculum and whatnot. We've not talked about you, Godfrey. We know you're a believer. You've said you worship at Kawes Baptist Church. So tell us, take us through the journey of your salvation, when you got born again, and all of that, because people cannot assume that we were only here to talk about the CBC.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also important they understand that your salvation. Yeah.
When I came to Nairobi, immediately after Form 4,
yes,
I had a desire to get to a church. And I was living at Lakisama then. In 1998, I was just meditating and thinking of what I should do. Then a couple missionaries passed by, handed me a tract. On the tract, there was the issue on salvation. And they went. It was on a Saturday. I read through. And felt that go to church as one. On Sunday, I went to a particular church. I wasn't really very comfortable. Came back. Surprisingly, the following weekend, the very missionaries, the very two individuals passed by where I was. Came. We engaged in a talk. And they shared with me about the problem of sin, which I had read through that tract. There's a problem of sin, all sin. There is a penalty of sin, which is death. And I did agree with that. But there was a solution to that death. That was through Jesus Christ. That give yourself life to Jesus Christ, then the penalty of sin is removed because Christ assumed it on the cross of Calvary. I gave my life to Christ then. I don't remember the specific date. It was somewhere August or May. And they invited me to join the church. They directed me to a particular church down there, which I started going to. That was independent Baptist Church, Kisama. I became a member. I was baptized. Became a member of that church. Started teaching. Then actually Sunday school class. I was a Sunday school teacher. Went to the youth ministry. Became the chair of the men department in that church. Then the church started another branch that is at Clay City, which is called Zion Independent Baptist Church. And I joined the church. And I was there for some time, up to the year 2006. I moved to Comarock.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Comarock Baptist Church sometime up to 2009 because I went to head a school there, 2006, 2009. Then came back to Car West, the Green Cottage, and came to this church,
Car West Baptist
Car
Church.
West Baptist Church. So I have been this. Right.
Okay. How does your belief inform your life as a teacher, especially?
I appreciate the fact that I got saved. One, because it did govern, the spiritual aspect governed my life. I married when I was very young, at the age of 20.
20.
Yes, that is 1998.
Wow.
So when I got saved, I was married, young, and that.
I'm still shocked at 20. Yeah.
God is been the sustainer of my life and my children, my family, my wife. I inspire children. I inspire them. To inspire them matters life, spirituality. In my lessons, I read the Bible. Whether I'm teaching mathematics or English, we read a verse. In my lessons, we pray. Before we begin, we pray. Because I need learners to understand all wisdom and knowledge come from God. I administrate a school. Every term, we have to have a verse that everyone in the school must memorize. Everyone in school must memorize. From preschool all the way to grade 9. The verse is circulated to the parents. They know they need to follow up on the children at home, the verse that they need to put to memory. I have a value of the term.
Okay.
A value that is linked to a verse that you have to memorize the term. There's a theme of the term which is linked to that particular verse term. So my belief and my spiritual life has made me know that I'm not just to teach mathematics. I'm here to make lives, challenge boys and girls to know what is right, what is wrong. Like the verse for last term was from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 22. My purpose is to do what is right, not only in the sight of God, but also in the sight of man. And my theme on that was doing what is right. So if you have stolen somebody's rub, ask you, is that what is right? What is our purpose? Is to do what is right. Was it the right thing that you did? No.
Yeah.
So becomes a song so that we help our children appreciate that they're not just in school.
Yeah.
They're in school because God is there, God is there. That.
Okay. Important. That's nice. That's nice. I can see how it's everywhere. Especially teaching. Wow. Starting the class with a Bible verse. Your class inafaa kupitwa. Especially mathematics. If it's mathematics, you're supposed to
not necessarily
understand.
But you see, why do we read the Word of God? The Word of God is paramount.
True.
Whether you're doing mathematics, chemistry, and the Word of God has lived
Yeah.
it will still.
Mm.
So let us appreciate the word of God.
Mm.
In the staff meetings, we have to read the Bible.
Yeah.
Whether a small meeting or a bigger meeting, read the Bible. What have you picked from the verse? Can be a discussion, can be shared. What I have learned from the verse, read the verse. So I will not start a staff meeting or not start a meeting without reading the Bible, without
teaching these kids that reading the Bible and starting everything you do needs to start with God. Invite God to be in the presence is important. Yeah. As they grow older, they might not see the importance right now, maybe, but as they grow older, they'll learn how to
yes.
invite God into these things. Thank you so much for being here, for honoring that seat, for honoring BTP and being our guest. It has been such an informative episode for me, for our audience, getting to understand the CBC in a deeper way. Yeah, so thank you so much. I hope, I think by the time this episode is airing, bado mtakuwa mmefungua shule.
I don't know.
yeah, it's airing this week, sometime this
okay,
week.
okay.
Yeah, so all the best in your endeavors as you head a school,
Thank you.
as you continue to be in church in your salvation life. May God be with you in everything that you do.
Amen.
Yeah. Hopefully we will interact somewhere in the corridors of Kawa West Baptist Church.
Yes.
Yeah, so asante sana.
Nashukuru.
Thank you so much to our audience for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Make sure you've subscribed, liked, and shared this episode to everyone who you want and who finds it important to understand these things. Hope you're going to share it with your family.
Yes.
Thank you. And tell them to subscribe. So yeah, thank you so much. Till we meet again on the next episode. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.